your perfect imperfections.
Welcome to Paris.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Do you know a little bit of French or not?
Very little.
What do you know?
Like bonjour, bonsoir, très joli, très joli.
You are très joli.
Très bien.
Ça va très bien?
Yes. Très bien.
Can we talk about this new album?
Yes.
Because it's not only about doing R&B or soul, it's about dignity in your music.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I don't know if it's just about dignity. I think it's about love. It's about struggle. It's about searching for answers. It's about trying to make the best of a world that sometimes is dark, you know.
But when you sing, you're doing the work of giving hope and sharing love.
Yes.
I don't know who's gonna kiss you when I'm gone, so I'm gonna love you now, like it's all I have.
You're not like fight the power, but you're doing it in your way.
Yeah, I'm doing it my way. I'm writing about it in the way that makes sense to me, in the way that feels honest to me and feels true to my voice as a singer. And also speaking about it outside of the music, speaking about issues that interest me and that I care about.
Because your singing technique come from very far. You're born in a preacher family.
Yeah, I grew up in playing gospel music.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned to sing and play piano.
Is it easier to sing when you have faith?
I don't know, because I'm not very religious anymore. But I think there's something powerful about gospel music. Energy and the faith that people feel in gospel music is very contagious, you know. When you see it and you hear it, it's a very powerful thing.
Is it true that as a kid you were not allowed to watch TV or listen to the devil's music?
Pretty close, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
close to true. I mean, we watched very little television as kids, and we listened to very little secular music as kids.
What is secular music?
Secular is anything that's not gospel. Anything that's not singing about God is considered secular music. Well, at least it was to my family at the time. So everything I make is secular music.
Are you a secular pop star?
Yeah, I am. And my parents are just fine with it. But, you know, when we were young, they were pretty strict. But they grew out of that, and I grew out of it.
Can I ask you two simple questions? What's your definition of the darkness?
Well, when I talk about darkness in this album, it's sometimes it's about uncertainty, sometimes it's about pain, sometimes it's about conflict, sometimes it's about the things that are happening around the world that are troublesome and can cause fear.
Light?
Light is love, family, music, finding joy through that.
How old are you right now?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'll be 38 in a few days.
Did you spend more time in darkness or light in your life?
That's a good question. I think it's been, you know, pretty close. But I think I've tried to focus on what's positive. And I've had a good life. But I've also had a lot of pain in my life. Even growing up, you know, my parents got divorced and my mother had a drug addiction. And we had some tough times as kids. But for some reason, I was able to make it through all of that and focus on the things that I love to do, like music. And music has been obviously very important to me.
'Cause everybody knows, but nobody really knows how to make it work or how to ease the hurt.
I feel that in your life, when you found light, it was not about the success only, it was about love.
Yes, absolutely. Love is definitely part of what I mean when I talk about light.
Because I feel that success doesn't bring love.
It doesn't always bring love.
Yeah.
It can, but it doesn't always bring it. And sometimes it can be just the opposite. You can succeed and your love can fall apart partially due to your success. But fortunately, I've been able to have success and love at the same time. It's interesting because this movie that I'm in called La La Land,
Yeah.
which is coming out soon here in France. Part of the story is that sometimes when you get your dream as an artist, sometimes it doesn't always coincide with romantic love and making your relationship work. So sometimes it's a challenge, but fortunately I've been able to find the right person in my life that I'm able to do what I love to do as an artist, and she's able to do what she loves to do, and then we're both able to grow together.
You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning.
When do you know that you find the right person? When do you say to yourself, it's the good one, we're gonna make babies and...
I knew I really was into her pretty quickly, and I knew I was in love with her within, a few months of us dating. But being in love and then deciding to get married, it still took me a while to decide to get married. I didn't propose until we had been together for 6 years.
Whoa.
5 years, actually, sorry.
And was she waiting for you, like...
Well, she was still pretty young, so when we first met, she was 20.
Her favorite colors be platinum and gold. She only loves in stereo. She only loves in stereo.
5 or 6 years later, she still wasn't that old, so she wasn't like, pressuring me. But I knew it was the right time.
And is it true that you started to write songs about being a father at the moment that you knew that you were going to be a father?
Yeah. The same day, I started writing songs about it. And I didn't use all of the songs for the album. I used the one that I thought was the best. But the song we ended up using, a song called Right By You, is about the questions that fathers and mothers might have as they bring a new child into the world.
And if angels don't have answers to your prayers, oh, I will be there.
Asking questions about what will your daughter be like, what will your son be like, what traits of yours will they take on, what traits of your partners will they take on, how will they cope with a world that sometimes is dark and uncertain and painful, how will they lead, how will they learn. We have a lot of questions, and that's what the song's about.
How does it feel for a guy like you who went from nothing to what you are now, to have a child and watching him having what you have now?
Yeah, my daughter, she's growing up into a lot of privilege and resources that I never had and my wife never had when we were young. We both grew up in working class families where our fathers worked with their hands every day. Our mothers, took care of us and did the best they could, but, they didn't have a lot of resources. I think it will be a challenge raising our daughter to be appreciative of what she has, raising her to be kind and gracious. It'll be a completely different world than what we grew up in. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. My wife grew up in a small town in Washington State. And then our daughter's going to grow up in, Beverly Hills in New York. It'll be quite different.
Can we talk about the letter that you did for Rolling Stone?
Yes. So we started a campaign called Free America, which is all about ending mass incarceration. The fact is that we're the leading incarcerator in the world. We jail more people, imprison more people than any other country at a higher rate than any other country in the world. And I want to do something about it. I think particularly it afflicts the Black and brown communities a lot and has been destructive of communities of color. So given that that's the case, one of the areas that we thought we could change quickly is something that the president has been working on, but we want him to accelerate the pace of, is granting clemency to people who've committed drug offenses where the laws have changed now and are more lenient, but the sentences that the people are serving right now aren't reflective of what the law is now. And we want to change that so that they're released and are punished according to the new regime that is more just.
A lot of intellectuals in America who are talking about the drug question are saying that America is responsible of a silent genocide
Yes.
To let the people die of the drugs and to do not consider them as sick people but criminals.
Right. And I think we have done real damage to so many communities by treating drugs as a criminal offense rather than an illness and a medical problem to be dealt with. If you go to other countries like Portugal, for instance, decriminalized drugs and treated it completely as a health problem. Drug use went down, the deaths by drug use went down, and the prison systems are free to deal with people who are more dangerous to society. And so we need to take that approach. I'm advocating that approach in America, but I'm not very optimistic right now, given that we've elected President-elect Trump, because I think he wants to be more harsh than we are now, which is very disappointing.
You send your letter to Barack Obama while he's still president. Do you think that he could do something?
Yeah, he can commute more sentences, so he can free more people right now. Presidents have that power until their term is up. So he'll have that power until January 20th.
Mr. Trump said that he wants more jails and more
law and order
and less public jail and to have private jails. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a John Carpenter's movie, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a scary time because he sees us being the most incarcerated country in the world, and he thinks we should double down on incarceration, double down on giving prison operators a profit motive to operate prisons so that they'll want more prisoners. And that system's been destructive for too many communities.
In France, we have a lot of intellectuals and thinkers and writers who are talking about the black people community in the US, and there a lot are scared about the mass incarceration, and they're talking about a new kind of slavery.
Yes, and a popular book in the United States is called The New Jim Crow. And Jim Crow was a system of segregation and systematic denial of rights for black people that lasted from after the Civil War until the 1960s. And that system said that if you're black, you're going to be treated like you're less, like you are less intelligent, more criminal, given less opportunity. And the system of incarceration has perpetuated that system because not only are black people unfairly treated by the criminal justice system when they are arrested and when they're locked up, but also once they get out, it's very difficult for them to live because it's hard to find a job, it's hard to find housing, it's hard to vote in a lot of states. And so that system that was in place under Jim Crow comes back if you get in trouble with the law. And it's been a really destructive thing for a lot of black and brown communities.
As a black kid that you were, did you felt apart from the system?
Well, I grew up in a small city, so I think in some ways it was different for me because it was a little more of a sheltered environment. But as soon as my parents got divorced, during that time my mother fell into a depression and she developed a drug problem. And she got arrested a few times because of her drug problem. And so whatever feelings that I had that I was sheltered from the system when I was young, those went away. We weren't sheltered from it anymore.
And when you were talking about Trump, do you think that there is an option is to go to talk with him and to find issue like Kanye could have done it?
He's a good man. Doing well. Long time. We've been friends for a long time.
I don't think it's impossible to talk to him about issues, but I won't be used as a publicity stunt, and I think Kanye was a publicity stunt. And I'm pretty disappointed with Kanye that he says he would have voted for Trump.
If I would have voted on Trump.
What?
Trump has been corrosive. His message has been corrosive to the country. And I think the things he's promised to do have been very concerning for a lot of people. And for Kanye to support that message is very disappointing.
Do you think that he had another stuff in his mind? Maybe.
Whatever's in his mind, I disagree with him.
And when you compare Trump to Hitler,
Yes.
why this comparison?
When he talks about registering Muslims, when he talks about demonizing Muslims and making people afraid of them and saying that he's going to put extra surveillance on Muslims that come into the country, or he's going to ban Muslims from coming into the country, it sounds very similar to the rhetoric that the Germans used to demonize Jews leading into the World War II. And I find that very concerning. When he talks about Japanese internment camps as a good thing or as something that worked well, and that he would consider using that for Muslims in America, I think that's very similar to the kinds of things that Hitler used to say about Jews. And so that's why I said he sounded like Hitler.
Why does people voted for him?
More people voted for Hillary. It's just our system is weird because the Electoral College chooses the president and not the people. But she won the vote. She got more votes. That being said, enough people voted for him that he was able to become president. And I think they responded to his message of fear. They responded to his message of division. They responded to his message of change. You know, they thought, well, we don't like what's happening, so let's bring somebody new in to bust up the system. But I think they're going to find themselves disappointed because the things he's promising aren't going to make things better. They're going to make things worse.
To me and to our show, the most urgent fight is to fight against poverty because poverty is leading to all what we say during all this conversation. And to you, to fight against poverty is to bring more knowledge and more school.
Yeah.
Is it an heritage from what the Black Panthers Party was saying?
Well, I think fighting poverty is about a few things. First of all, it's about bringing more education, bringing more opportunity to people. So making sure they have good schools to go to, making sure they have health care and they're able to feed their kids and have good housing. But it's also about changing people's minds to see the value in every human being so that if they're worshipped differently or if they look differently than you, you still value their lives. You still believe that their lives matter as much as yours. So I think it's important for us to change policy, but it's also important for us to change people's hearts so that they see the value in every person.
I know what you're going to answer to that question, but it's important to hear it from somebody like you. What's your real definition of a rich people?
Well, there's the basic definition of having a lot of money, but I think rich people that I admire are the ones that when they make a lot of money, they use that money to help people. Use that money not only to make their lives better, which is fine, but to make other people's lives better, give other people opportunity. Someone like Bill Gates, for instance, who has made lots and lots of money, but he has promised that he's going to give almost all of it away. All of it to, fight AIDS, fight poverty, fight malaria, make the world a safer and more healthy place. To me, that's the best definition of being rich.
And this one?
Yeah. I think having a heart that is rich is a different thing. I don't even use the word rich. I think it's a different thing because I don't want to associate that with money. I think I want to associate that with being a good person, being just, being loving. To me, love is the goal. Money's not the goal.
This show is called Clique. And what's your definition of a clique?
Your clique, those are your friends. Those are people that you enjoy the good times and the bad with. Those are people that if you need to fight for something, they'll fight with you. If you need to go accomplish something, they'll join the team and help make it happen. And that's my clique.
And what are the things that makes you still proud to be an American, even if Trump is president?
I think America is still a great place. I think America is defined by the people, is defined by our system of government, and I still think even when we elect the wrong person, even when we take steps backwards when it comes to justice, I still think that there are a lot of good things about the American system and about the American people that we can be proud of.
If you have any trouble, you can come in France.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll show you my mother. She'll make you a good couscous.
Ah, that sounds good.
You will eat good. If you have any problem, you call me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My new clique.
Thank you.
Oh, I will stay with you through the ups and the downs.